Hi, Tri-State. Welcome to Facebook Live Fridays. I just want to apologize for last week. We were having some crazy technical difficulties. I don't know what was going on, but hopefully today it'll work. Thank you for bearing with us. As always, if you're driving, we ask that you would please wait till you're stopped to watch this, and you can always come back and watch it. So we'll wait for a minute to get you guys on here. Happy Friday, by the way. Hope you all are having a great week. I'm really excited this week to have Leah Groom on with safety. And hi, Lynn and Fred. Hope you guys are doing well. I see Jackie's on. Hi, Jackie and Chuck. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. So today, like I said, we have Leah Groom from the safety department. And I'm going to flip it on over to her.
Hi. Today I'm going to talk about the driver's favorite subject, hours of service, which I know is a lie, but anyway, we're just going to go over a few things, the different regulations, different things, the problems we're seeing, things that, questions we get on a daily basis. One of the first things I'm going to cover is personal conveyance. The one thing with personal conveyance is it's when you're off duty. It is your personal time. It's when you're using the truck to do your own thing, not when you're working for the company. So with that being said, personal conveyance, you can't use it if you are under a load or if you're going in the direction of your next load. You can use it to go grab a bite to eat, take a shower, motel, Walmart, shopping, that type of thing. But it's when you are not loaded, when you're not under dispatch. So with teams, you're always going to be empty. Yes, you can have a trailer, but it cannot be a laden trailer. You have to be unloaded. The only exception they have to that is for our solo drivers. Say our solo drivers are at a shipper or receiver and they've run out of hours while they're waiting there. And they're kicking them off their property at that time and they cannot take their 10-hour break or their 30-minute break. Then they can use personal conveyance and go to the nearest safe place to take their break. And I'm not saying their favorite place, their nearest safe place. So if you've got a truck stop 5 miles down the road, that's where you go, not the one that you want to go to 25 miles down the road. So that is the only time you can use personal conveyance if you have a load. That is our solos only. And also, if say maybe you've shut down for your 10-hour break, and law enforcement they come knocking on your door and they say, "Hey, you can't take your break here. You've got to move," basically. So you can go to personal conveyance to get to the next nearest safe place and to finish out your break. Other than that, any other driving time with a load is drive time. If you're on a base, if you're at a customer, and you're moving from building to building, facility to facility in the property, that's drive time. You're working. You're not there for the fun of it. You're not there, just goofing off that day. But say you're here at the yard in Joplin or wherever and you want to run to Walmart, that's personal conveyance. Make sure you log it that way and make sure you put a note and tell us why, because we do need to know why. We're going to look to see if you're dispatched. And if you're dispatched, we're going to call you and we're probably going to change it back to real drive time. On-duty time is any time, you're working but not driving. So fueling, loading, unloading, random drug screens, if you get sent in for a random, that's on-duty time also. Anytime you have to guard your load, that's on duty. Fueling. Anything that is considered work, that is on duty time. Your rest breaks, sometimes you have to take your rest breaks on duty if you're hauling freight that has to be guarded. And you're going to know. You're going to know if you need to guard that load or not. So if you're taking a 30-minute rest break, that cannot be off duty if you have to guard that load. Because on your logs, during an audit, it would show that you left your load unattended. So you have to show that it's on duty. But when you do that, you're going to go into your rest break. You're going to go into on duty and you have to click the rest break button. And the rest break button is only for that 30 minutes that you are taking your break. It's not for the whole time that you may be sitting there guarding that load. Say you get to a facility early You get to a receiver early and you have to sit there guarding, for 3, 4, 5 hours. That time is not used with the rest break button. The rest break button is only for the 30 minutes. One thing about your brakes though, make sure your truck does not move that last 5 minutes. That last 5 minutes of any brake has to be completely still. Because if you move, even if you put the truck in gear and it just jumps forward, you move an inch or two, that starts movement on the computer. So when you get 2 miles down the road, it's going to think back and say, hey, this truck really started moving at this time. So if that was at 28 minutes and 30 seconds, that's all of a break you took, and you will have to shut down and take another 30-minute break. There's nothing we can do about that. We can't help you there. So make sure you have a full 30-minute break, a full 10-hour break, because everything is by the second. So a 9-hour, 59-minute, and 59-second break, you've messed up. You may have to take another 10-hour break because you've missed it by 1 second. So make sure your hours flip over and make sure you do not move that truck the last 5 minutes. Now, if you do have to move for whatever reason, you just need to sit another 5 minutes. Sit still for another 5 minutes, and that will keep your clock reset, and you'll be good to go. Back to guard duty, make sure if you are under freight that you have to guard, and that is, any of your ditch loads, anything that you have that service that you have to stay on duty for. You have to do it. When you're taking your break, when you're stopping, when you're fueling, anytime. Someone has to be on duty or driving from the time you pick up that load until the time you deliver it. There's no exceptions unless you put it in a safe haven. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 explosives, you have to guard it. You cannot take your brakes off duty. You can't leave it unattended. You have to show on duty on your logs. If you happen to go over your hours of service, you go over your 11, 14, 70, or your 30-minute break, you need to call us. You need to talk to us, because if you don't call us, we're going to turn around and call you anyway. So make sure you call us, let us know what happened, whether it might be weather related, accident on the highway, anything like that. But one thing about weather, traffic, you usually know in advance when you're coming into that. So don't wait until the last minute to start looking for a place to take your break. Because as everyone knows, truck stops are full, rest areas are full, and sometimes it's just really hard to find a parking place. So make sure you start looking ahead of time. Don't wait till that last hour. Try to plan ahead. If you're heading into a snowstorm, you're heading into LA traffic. And it doesn't change. It's always that way, every day. So make sure, you just plan ahead and you pay attention to that. And even if you go over by a minute, 2 minutes, that's still a violation. You still go over. Call us though, we'll document it, let us know what the reason is. But it's still a violation. There's nothing we can do about that. Your passenger rule violations, the passenger rule is, if basically the way I look at it, if the truck's moving, the co-driver needs to be in the sleeper. Yes, DOT allows 2 hours that they can take off duty at either end of that 8-hour sleeper berth, but I recommend just make it simple. Be in the sleeper when they're driving. You cannot be off duty for that 10-hour break while your co-driver's driving, unless you're out of the truck. With that being said, anytime a driver is out of the truck, they need to be logged out of that Qualcomm if the co-driver continues to use the truck. Anytime someone else is driving that vehicle and you are not in the vehicle, you need to be logged out of it. That being said, going into a shop, if you know that they're going to have to drive your truck, log out of it before you give them the keys. Put yourself off duty, make a note that you're going to the shop, and then that way any movement that they make, we can assign it to the shop people. We can assign it to the mechanics. And I know if you log your co-driver out, you're not going to be able to read your messages, but you have to log them out. That gives them a falsification on their logs if they're showing that they are still running with you. You are allowed to edit your own logs. You can edit everything except for drive time. And a lot will just call in. I've yeah, I've kind of spoiled. I've kind of spoiled you guys as far as just calling in and I'll do it. But if you can do it yourself, it is so much easier. You can, as long as you do not certify your logs, you can edit any of the time except for drive time. So if you forgot to go into the sleeper during your break and you accidentally left yourself on duty that whole entire time, you can go in, you can fix it. Just don't certify it yet. If once you certify it, then yes, you have to call, and Jeannie and I, one of us we can fix it for you. After hours, if you need to have an edit made, I'm available 24 hours a day. Everyone has my number. It's all on the DOT laminated reg card that that you get when you come on. Everyone has to have one in their truck that is DOT mandated. If you get stopped by DOT and you do not have this card, you will get written up for it, I guarantee it. Another thing you have to have with you is logs. You have to make sure you have blank log books, or at least log pages, because if they ask for them, you have to be able to present them. And you use those if the system goes down. If your Qualcomm freezes up and it doesn't get fixed, if something, if there's any problem with it, that you cannot record your logs on the Qualcomm, then you have to use your paper logs and then send them in to us once you get done with that day. Make sure you send them in drive axle. Like I said, after hour calls, I am available 24 hours a day with my cell phone number. If you don't have my number, just let me know and I can send it to you. After hours, we'll give it to you. And don't call my cell phone during the day because I have no service in this building. So every day when I leave the office, my phone blows up with messages. And I have no idea when you called and what it was for. So if it's during business hours, call the office number. After hours, my cell phone. If for some reason I don't get back with you, leave a message, text me, and I will as soon as I get it. Usually it's immediately, but there are some times that I can't. If it's something that can wait until the next day, please do. But if it's something that will give you a violation on the road, then I'll take care of it right then. If you accidentally don't switch drivers, before the other driver takes over, and you drive on your co-driver's logs, then yes, I definitely need to fix that at that point. You accidentally use off-duty driving or personal conveyance when it should have been real driving, I need to fix that. So, I can take care of anything as long as I have my laptop. But again, I can't change drive time either. But you can edit all the rest of the stuff yourself without having to call me. But if you need help, feel free. I have no problem with that. Any questions?
We do have one from Jackie and Chuck Hensel. They say, what if you're on your way to a restaurant and it's in the same direction as the shipper? We aren't expected to go in the opposite direction, are we?
If you're under a load, if you have a laden trailer, you have a load on, then that is drive time. Now, if you're empty, you can be going to the restaurant at that point. That could be personal conveyance.
And then other than that, I guess, would you just give your office number?
Mm-hmm. The office number, the easiest one to call is the 1-800-234-8768. Use the directory, pick safety, and then pick logs. My direct number is 417-621-2246. And as far as my cell phone number, I'll give that out later. So.
All right. I think that is good. So thank you, Leah, for joining us today. And thank you to everybody for watching. And we'll see you next week.